Hi everyone, Dr. Emily Letran here, speaker and high performance coach. And today I want to share with you some insights about work life balance. I was in this little discussion in one of the professional business Facebook group, and people brought up this idea of work life balance. And I know that you are very familiar with the term work life balance. I just want to give some insights from my experience and maybe that it will fit with whatever you're going through. Because I believe that there's no true balance. I believe that at certain times, we are torn in our life. Sometimes you have to be 100% focused on your business. Sometimes you're going to be 100% focused on your family or something that is non-business related. Or sometimes you have to be 100% focused on yourself. People may say, well, if you're going to just focus on yourself, it's kind of selfish. You need to be able to do whatever it is for your family. You need to give time to your family. And depending on your culture or your personal belief, I think that that's all great. But what's most important to me over the years, and that's how I help a lot of my clients, is to understand your values, right? What's most important to you, the values? Is it your family? Is it your relationship, your husband, your wife? Is it the extended family? Is it your business? Is it fame? Is it income? Is it association? There are a lot of things that make up the values that to us, we take that as the most important thing. And those values, a lot of time, will drive our action, and our action will produce certain results. So if we believe certain things is important and our action doesn't support that, we actually are living in misalignment. And if we're living in misalignment, you will constantly have stress, self-doubt. You're going to be getting frustrated very easily because you're not doing something that is in alignment with your values. And when that happens, there's no way you could have balance. I'll give you an example. Somebody who, let's just say, a new mom, right? So let's say a new young professional who have just have a baby, and with uh, common beliefs that you should be able to go back to work and you should be able to run work and then have this life at home, and you should be able to still take care of your kids. Because if you leave your kid at a nursery or with a babysitter or with your parents, then you have this guilt. And how do you balance the two things, right? To me, it's really not about that. At that particular moment in your life, when you're a young parent, I think most of us will agree that the most important thing is going to be the children, the young child. And so, if we can just allow ourselves, and notice I say allow because you're the one stopping yourself 100% of the time, allow yourself to do what is the best thing for your heart and ultimately for your health. So, if being with your kid more time give you that peace of mind, make you feel more fulfilled, I would say by all means do that. And then you have to allow yourself to let go of work. And by letting go, I don't mean like let go, don't go to work. Maybe you can structure your work where you can put somebody in there to run the business for you. Maybe you can start working part time for a certain amount of time, and you're going to still feel happy, and you're not going to be 40 hours at work. You're going to change that structure for a certain amount of time, and that is going to be your balance during those early years. So I'll give you an example. When I had my second child, and then 18 months later, here comes the third one. I decided, and I just told my staff. I just walked in one day and say, "Hey, when I have the baby, the third one, I'll come back 6 weeks after, and I'm only gonna work from 9 to 2." So all the staff look at me and say, "What do you mean you're only going to work from 9 to 2? The schedule is either 9 to 6 or 10 to 7." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but me, I'm only going to work from 9 to 2." So we are starting now looking for a doctor who can take care of the afternoon into the evening. And we got very lucky. We got a doctor who come in, and she has a kid where that the kid was basically being homeschooled. So she's home with the kid from the morning to the early afternoon. Then her husband come home from work, and then she could go to work with me. So yes, I agree. I was absolutely lucky. However, the point that I'm trying to make is I decided that I was going to work from 9 to 2 before I found this doctor, because I decided that during those short years when I have two little people, right? So one's 18 months and one's a newborn. And then my daughter was 6 years older. So she went to school, and then um, these kids are just being home with me uh, for part of the day. So what I do is I would go to work from 9 to 2. I take the kids to the babysitter, and then I go pick up the kids, and then I brought them home. And then we stay home. We hang out together, right? The kids went to the babysitter. Jennifer went to school. I pick all three up, and I'm home. And I did that for several years. And did I have any guilt? Nope. Was I worrying about the business? No, no, because I had trained my staff to know how to run the business without me. And I share with people sometimes that the greatest compliment for me is when I walk into a room, an operatory, and the patient looked up at me, and the patient said, "Who are you?" Right? And that's great, because that means the patient did not quite identify me with the business, which means that the patient came to the business independent of me. That means the business itself has an identity. And I know that identity is tied in with our values, how we treat our patients, how we take care of our staff, how we position ourselves in the community. So, you know, during that time, if you're talking about balance, it wasn't exactly balanced because I still have the three. No, let me see. No, at that time, yeah, I have three offices, right? I have the three offices, and I was running among the three, but we were only working from 9 to 2. And if the kids have certain activity where it requires me to leave early, then we just gonna block the schedule and leave early. Is it balanced? Not exactly. Is it most profitable? Depends on how you define a profit. If I wanted to do certain dollar per hour, and I could still achieve that or get very close to that, and I still can get myself to do other things, then I would say it's still very equally profitable. Was I happy? Absolutely. Were the kids happy? Absolutely. Were the staff happy? Yes. They get paid. They still get their bonus. They still, they could run the business without me. They probably are happy that I wasn't there all the time. But the point is, there's no definition of that work-life balance. Nobody say that you have to work so many hours and then go home, and you have to be present for your kids so many hours in order to have that balance. You're the one dictating that. So the very first thing you want to do is to be very clear in what you want. What does balance mean to you? And for me, a lot of time that balance mean peace. That balance mean freedom. That balance mean full feeling fulfilled. It wasn't the hours of work. It wasn't the money. It wasn't the status. It was, am I happy or not? Because if I'm happy at a certain amount of income, and I'm spending a certain amount of time with my kids, and I'm present at certain hours at work, whether people know me or not, then that's balance to me. I don't have to prove to anyone that I have a balanced life. I don't have to live up to any expectation. Because that's one of the very big things, that we try to live up to expectation that society and maybe our families kind of put on us. And if you have to, go ahead and do it. But I would bet that most of the times you don't have to. You're the one that actually put yourself there and trying to live up to that. So actually, during the pandemic, I wrote a book. It's called The Modern Woman: To Have It All Without Sacrifice. And of course, it doesn't mean you don't have any sacrifice. What it means is do what you need to do, but don't think about it as sacrifice, because those are the things you do to get to what you want. And in that book, I kind of, dispel some of these myths that, we have to be that awesome wife. We have to be this perfect daughter. We have to be this greatest mom. We have to be at all of these activities, and we still have to be at work. And then we gotta show up and do all these things to be a great boss. If other people are giving their staff bonuses and I don't give the staff bonuses, then I'm not that good. Or people are throwing all these awesome Christmas parties and they sharing the details, and it sounds really fancy. And you know for me, it it didn't appeal to me. It wasn't my personality. It wasn't the values that I need. It wasn't anything that I needed to prove. I'm more about having a happy culture, showing up every day, able to joke to the staff. Somebody calling sick, all of us are going to be able to fill in that space and get through the day. So, look, I don't need my staff or myself to look forward to a fancy end of the year party. We could just have a very fancy middle of the day lunch. I used to block 3 hours for lunch if it's somebody's birthday. And I say I used to because, as you know, right now it's a little bit, with the time we have right now, sometimes it's a little bit harder. But to be intentional about celebrating your team and to do it on your own terms, and you don't need to ask for other people's opinions. You don't need to check with who else is doing what. Just do what's right for you. Just do what you love. Just do what makes you feel fulfilled and feel happy. One of my favorite movie, and I had the opportunity to actually listen to the author of the book, the real author of the book, The Pursuit of Happiness. He was there at one of the little conference that I attended, TBSC in Vegas many years ago, right before that movie got released, right? So he was there and he was sharing the story of the pursuit of happiness. And when I was sharing this in my group of professional friends, I said, I don't hear anybody say, my goal is to pursue happiness, right? Or my goal is to pursue freedom or self fulfillment. Those are long lasting goals. Those are things that will carry you through any difficult period of time. If you're happy, who cares if the life is balanced? If I could be very stressed out for several months, for example, going through certain things, but if I feel that I'm doing my best, I'm giving 100%, and maybe it didn't come out as good as it could be, I don't need that balance. It was a very stressful time. I'm still here. I'm still healthy. I'm still happy. I may not need that balance. So to strive for that balance all the time and to think that you need that in order to be happy, I think it's a myth. And I would encourage all of us, whether you're married, you have kids, you have spouse, you have dogs, cats, whatever it is, because every one of us have certain obligations to someone. Um, just serve yourself first. And by serve yourself first, I mean take care of yourself first. Make sure that you're living in alignment with everything that is important to you. And I think when you are clear with those values and you live in that alignment, it's just going to dictate the action that you take. It's going to get you to the results that you want. The results are in alignment with those values that you honor, and you're just going to stay a happy person. And I think anyone would love to hang out with a happy person, and it has nothing to do with that person is balanced in their life or in their business. So those are my thoughts about having the balance, the work-life balance. I will certainly tell you that I do not have that, but if you have a chance to talk to me or attend my event, Or maybe you listen to some of these videos, you will see that um, that I live in alignment with myself, with the values, and I love my life. And I live every day to the fullest of my potential. And if it wasn't good enough today, tomorrow is another day, and we're gonna go for better. So see you in the next video, and hopefully you can check out um, my Facebook pages, also on LinkedIn, and join me at one of my upcoming events. The next one is actually going to be in April, April 8th and 9th in Philadelphia. So please have a great, wonderful weekend, everyone, and forget that balance. Just go for happiness.